Hello, everyone. It's Leslie Flowers, Trailblazer for Women in Business, continuing our fabulous presenters for the Telesummit Awakening Your Infinite Potential. And right now, I am so excited to share with you the presenter that I know for a number of years, Sheyenne Kreamer. And she created Triangle Solutions Alliance, Inc., and her focus is on helping people at all levels in society live their song, and she'll explain what that means later. She uses the phrase Community and Economic Development Corporation to describe the integrated system she calls TSAI. She believes that we are all born with a song in our heart for creating a unique gift in the world. Isn't that nice? I love it. The key to creating peace and prosperity in the world requires each of us to find that unique passion, purpose, and gift, learn how to package it as a product or service, and then find others with a similar mission for group collaboration and implementation. Boy, that is fantastic. And that's exactly what she does. Sheyenne has created a variety of classes, coaching programs, and apprenticeship programs to become a one-stop resource for products and services to help individuals and groups implement their vision. Her stepping stones for success methodologies allow her to work with people from 8 years old to 80 years old. So what's wrong with the 7-year-old? No matter their current income situation, that's really important. Her qualifications, in case you're interested for this work, include 12 years in manufacturing and project management, 6 years in recruiting and staffing, and 18 years in career transition services, which include both job search and entrepreneurial strategies. Sheyenne has taught classes at University of North Carolina in Greensboro, ECPI, and the Friday Center at University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. She's also conducted entrepreneurial summer camps and continues to teach entrepreneurial skills at Wake Tech Community College. She's now contracted with North Carolina State to bring her Live Your Song message to the corporate world. Her students at Wake Tech have included formerly incarcerated people and homeless women. Boy, welcome, Sheyenne. This is so exciting. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited. I love whenever I get to share a little bit about these wonderful things that are going on out here. So I'm blessed and honored to be here with you.
Thank you. So what I'd love to do is start by asking you, as you were doing all these things, I'm sure you had more than one awakening moment, but what was the moment and what was it that you awakened to about your own infinite potential? Could you share that with us, please?
Sure. And let me give you just a little bit of backstory on that as well, because, I've heard you say before, and I know it's the truth, that sometimes the things we're meant to do are kind of like staring us in the face, and we don't realize it. So you need a little bit of wake-up calls here and there, right?
Right.
But in my time of corporate America, what I didn't really realize was that I was heavily being trained as a problem solver. I do have a math degree, a computer science degree. That's all about problem solving. I was a project manager. That was all about problem solving. And then I became leader and facilitator of what corporate America used to call quality circles, which was all about bringing teams of people together to be able to solve problems and reduce costs for the company. So that is a huge part of what I had been doing for quite some time. But it wasn't until I started going through multiple layoffs in corporate America that all of a sudden everything started to shift for me. I found it was very difficult to get a job in the area that I was in Vermont when I got laid off. And then when I came to North Carolina and got laid off again, I was again finding it difficult to find a job here. So for me, the big aha moment that I first had was about understanding that I could be a problem solver by becoming a business owner. And so that was the first piece of it for me, was that I learned how to become a management consultant. I learned how to become a career coach based on all the experiences that I had going through multiple layoffs. So those things, again, were showing me more ways to become a problem solver. But the really interesting piece was that that problem solving initially was mostly working in professional environments, working with unemployed professionals, working in corporate America. And it wasn't until sometime later, I was out networking, as business owners always do, and I met a gal from Wake County Human Services who loved hearing me talk about this concept of living your song. And so she invited me into her office to present some information about this idea to a whole room full of social workers. And this was something very new for me. I had not ever worked in human services, in a county or anything of this nature. I really hadn't had a lot of exposure to folks who maybe were kind of trapped in some low income situations. So it was very unusual. But what happened to me there was mind-boggling for me, because as I started to do my presentation about this concept of living your song, and I had all these social workers sitting on the edge of their seat, they were just fascinated with what I was talking about. I had what some people would call like this deja vu experience. I felt like I had been here before. I felt like I had done this before. And it was such a strong experience that it just shook me to the core. And I had to stop talking for a moment because I completely had forgotten what I was talking about. And I've never had a deja vu like that just stopped me in my tracks. And, once I regained my composure and finished my presentation, everybody was thoroughly excited and thoroughly engaged. And I just walked out of there scratching my head going, oh my God, what just happened?
So what did happen?
Oh, Lord. Well, the interesting thing was that, again, sometimes when you get into this space and you know what it is that you need to be doing, but sometimes you're still a little resistant. Somebody grabs you by the hand and pulls you along. And that's what happened to me. Was this gal who was a supervisor in the human services group, she was like, no, Sheyenne, we have to create a whole event that is going to be for helping people who are looking for work. And, I'm like, okay, and who are we targeting for this? And she's like, oh, we need to target everybody. And I said, tell me who everybody is. And so, she was talking about professional levels and folks who had been in the welfare system and all of these different things all in one place. And I said, wow, I don't think that's ever been done before, has it? And she said, you might be right, but that doesn't mean we're not going to do it. So that was really the next step for me, was getting engaged and getting involved in creating this event. And we called it something about balancing life, and talking about creating, work that you actually enjoyed, but also allowed you to have a balanced life. So that was the biggie for me. The interesting part, though, was that very few people from the human services community actually came out to this event. And so I ended up spending a little more time trying to evaluate what had happened there and why did we not see some of the folks we really wanted to include in this event. And it wasn't until quite a while later that somebody suggested that I might need to reach out to our local community college with the class that I had created called Find Your Song and Sing It. And it was there that somebody shared with me that I could take, once I was on staff with the college, I could take this concept into homeless shelters, working with the formerly incarcerated community, working with people that I had not worked with before. And that was really the beginning of opening my eyes and showing me just how much that I could make an impact at a level that I didn't even realize was possible.
So let me recap a little bit and backtrack. So what I'm hearing is that it appeared to be quite by chance, right? For you, as far as you're concerned, that you had such a reception at that community and that somebody took you under their wing. And I do want to ask you if you were afraid and did it anyway. But then what happened was you know, as a result of allowing this person to sort of guide you, a whole series of even better opportunities, better solutions for your infinite potential, which you had discovered, right, which was problem solving and that people loved it, so that you ended up in a much better place. But is that accurate, what I was hearing?
Yeah, it is. And if I hadn't originally kind of understood that there was a place for me to be helping people who were unemployed, I talk a lot about long-term unemployed as being a sweet spot for me. But even working, you know, with people who are shorter-term unemployed is cool. But you're right. I mean, I had started down the path because I had understood that I had something to offer in terms of helping folks who were in that transitionary space. And then all of a sudden, other things started to come into my space that you're absolutely right. I felt the fear and did it anyway, because I was very aware that I was walking into arenas that I didn't know much about. But here's the interesting thing. And there was this little voice in the back of my head as I was doing that, and it was my mom's voice. And what I came to understand, and this is where a lot of people have a song in their heart that they don't even realize is there. I kept hearing my mom, who worked in all kinds of state government agencies. And she told me for 18 years that she was frustrated, that she didn't think these agencies were helping people at the level that they could be. So I found that to be very interesting, that somehow I had internalized those thoughts and those pieces of information from her.
Yes.
They were sitting there hidden in my subconscious for quite a long time. But something inside of me had integrated that and decided I needed to be out here helping some of those people.
So for those who are listening and they're interested in finding their song, their unique gift, their unique abilities to help that unique group of people, what would be your advice to them to become aware of when an awakening is on its way to you? Because I think I heard that you say, or I'm guessing that there were signs. There were things that started happening. Is that accurate? So what would you tell people how to make yourself really aware when things are happening that are for your greater good and for your infinite potential?
Absolutely. And there were multiple things that were kind of coming into my space. And I'm a big believer, I teach this all the time. If you keep hearing the same thing over and over from different people, or different, you know, things are coming to you and people are saying, you should consider this, or you should think about that, and you're just shutting down and going, no, that's not part of my plan. That's not what I'm here to do. I invite you to explore.
So how would you do that? If you're one of those people that you're a little resistant and frankly, you know, a little afraid. And you had, and you know, people don't, well, do we always trust people? And if someone tells us we should do this, you know, should we? Or, you know, are we relying on our own intuition? But how do you know?
The multiple times tends to be kind of a key. You know, I like to use the word synchronicity. If things keep showing up over and over again and they've all got a common thread to them, somewhere along the line, you've got to just stop and say, okay, there's something for me to learn here. There's something for me to do here that I'm not fully aware of yet. and just be open to that. Once you become open to that idea and that process, things will come into you in some of the craziest ways.
So tell us about your handout, because I'm hoping that that handout will get us going in terms of finding our song and being able to recognize and have insights into who we're really supposed to be serving.
Absolutely. And yes, I definitely will be making available a downloadable handout for folks. And, you know, there's really only a few questions that I typically find that people need to ask themselves and think about to try to start to spark some of this activity to happen in your life. It's not rocket science, but it is about some self-reflection, about just stopping all the activity and thinking about, you know, what have you come through in your life where there may be wisdom that you've gained and knowledge that you have that could bring hope, help, and healing to other people. That's a real basic question, and too many people think that what they've been through is insignificant. I happen to believe we're all worth our weight in gold, quite honestly. And if you think about the price of an ounce of gold these days, that means we're pretty valuable. But if we're
really valuable, I'm really valuable.
Exactly. So, but we don't recognize our value to other people sometimes. And so some of that self-reflection is just imperative to be doing. And you know,
I assume, oh, sorry, Henny.
Go ahead.
That in your handout, there'll be a way for them to reach out to you. In fact, if somebody wants to talk to you now about their song or they got an epiphany, how would they best reach you?
Lots of ways. My website, SheyenneKreamer.com, is a good way. There's a lot of different information on that site about finding your song, both for people who may not be business owners as well as people who are business owners. I do believe there's a lot of room out here for more business owners to be integrating their song into what they're doing in one way or another. Because let's face it, you look out here and there's a lot of opportunity for us to be solving a few more problems on the planet, don't you think?
Yeah, I think you might be right. We could use like a lot of new problem solvers.
Absolutely. And of course, you mentioned my company name. It's Triangle Solutions Alliance. And people can reach me through my Gmail account, just trianglesolutionsalliance@gmail.com.
That's Triangle Solutions Alliance@gmail.com. And if you want to go to, you can, you said that you also had a website, trianglesolutionsalliance.com.
We have that, but also SheyenneKreamer.com is the one that has more of the find your song and live it kind of stuff on it.
Excellent, excellent. So as we wrap up here, Sheyenne, if there was one thing that you would tell the listeners that they should know about awakening to our unique infinite potential, what would it be?
About awakening, just allow. That is the biggie, because I truly believe if we have that song in our heart, and I believe we all do, yeah, we all have the ability to be part of a very large super puzzle that can create peace and prosperity on the planet for all of us. That is truly who I believe we are. But we're so resistant. We get so caught up in thinking, oh no, that's not for me. No, I would never do that. And I was the queen of no. Let me tell you, over and over again, I would say no to things that were coming to me. But if we can just stop when we recognize we're saying no to something too many times and just allow ourselves to be open and allow ourselves to explore, what you'll find is yourself.
Oh, I love that. Sheyenne, thank you so much for sharing your time and your story with everyone. Folks, reach out to Sheyenne. We much appreciate you. And this is Leslie Flowers. We'll see you at the next presentation Be sure you download Cheyenne's her paperwork and enjoy it and reach out to her. Okay. See you at the next presenter.
Thank you.